Hey, this is Basil and Will from Grayson Hobby, and today we're going to unbox the Dynam T28 with flaps and retracts. Alright, so we got the T28 and the shipping box right here.
Now Dynam uses a lot of times the same box for both the plug and play and the ready to fly, so what you order is what you get, not necessarily what's on the box. Alright, one thing to mention, guys, unlike the older Dynams you're used to, the Gavin system does not have the safe mode switch, so as soon as you power it up, the motor is live all the time. You don't have a safety switch anymore. I think it's a positive, some people might not, but it doesn't have it anymore.
So our safety now is going to be no prop on the motor until we're ready to fly.
This happens to be a ready to fly box on for both planes, both plug and play and ready to fly, but T28.
So as you pop the box open, you notice you have your fuselage right there. The box with or without the radio.
Yeah, it's either an empty box or got a transmitter.
Depending on what model you bought.
Propellers.
They all come with propellers or props, and that's a 3-bladed prop.
Yep.
What we got right there, Will?
This is the ready to fly model, so it does have battery, charger in there. Let's get this box before I get out of the way. This was the ready to fly, so again, this has a...
Now the ready to fly model literally comes with everything you need ready to fly. You may have to assemble it, but it has all the electronics. And this has a new Dynam Gavin radio. It's got a 3-amp or 3S battery with T-plugs or Deans and a charger.
There was one more thing down in the little box. It was the screws and all that. That's the hardware, the prop collet, and glue. So that box is now empty. So 2 boxes down. Looks like 1 to go.
This will be the wing. This is what I want to see.
This is gonna be the wing and tail, yeah. So let's let me slide this over here. Get this out. All right. So in here we got.
Ah, wow, look at that. We got aileron, servo, the flap servo, and the retract, all already from the factory, ready to go.
So there's one. Wing spar came out.
Put that over here.
We got, looks like elevator and rudder in one. So we got horizontal and vertical stabilizer there. Got the canopy, pilots, glue in there. The canopy hatch, and looks like the last thing is the other wing, and that's all that's in the box. So it's that. So we got both wings again, aileron servos, flap servo, and landing gear retract pre-installed.
And notice all this is all painted with, look at that precision. It's all precision painted. It's all been taped off nice. It's not decals, it's actually paint.
Yeah, they're masked off and sprayed. And then the spar, so that's that box.
And then turn this guy over.
And the last things here is we got the fuselage itself with the nose gear, nose retract pre-installed. We got, this one has the receiver because it's ready to fly. Motor and speed control pre-installed.
Now the speed controller, it's gonna be embedded into the foam, so you won't see it, but you will see a wire coming out of here called throttle. And the last, we got the decals. I like the way they're taped on this box. They don't get wrinkled or anything. Now we're gonna wrinkle them and break them here.
Yeah.
And this is the navy version also.
And then that thing that nobody reads is the manual.
All right, so let's open the plastic up and see what we got. Alrighty. So we got the flaps, servo, we have the aileron servo, and I've done this before on this plane. They were a pain in the neck to get all hooked up. Now I'm glad this is done for me. And then now we also have the retract. So let's show everybody how this works. We're going to use a little servo tester right here to test our servos. Yep. All you need is a battery and a speed controller. Going down the line, we have the ailerons right here. We're going to up and down, left and right. Okay, now we're going to do the flap.
All right, next is the flap. So you got...
That's like a air brake flap right there.
Yeah, it has a lot of throw on it.
Notice how that... Put it down. Notice how that rounds over. It actually doesn't have a typical hinge as the aileron does. It has a rounded hinge like a real flap does. That's pretty cool right there. Yeah. And it has some funky...
See if we can get some slow-mo here.
There we go. That is a super tight fit right there. And then last but not least will be the retract.
All right, and the retracts are a little different, guys. Remember, when you plug in the retracts, you got to give it several seconds to arm before it does anything. If you just keep flipping the switch, it'll never arm. So plugged in, let's give it a second, and it should power up. Either it's going to power or actually cycle depending on where it's on. So the weight's on.
There we go.
Retract down and retract up. So
awesome.
You can see it. Little gear door and all that.
Awesome. Now we're gonna cut open the fuselage, show you what's inside that guy. All right, so we have our fuselage, and most all Dynam airplanes have the
Y harnesses. They're usually plugged into the servos. I guess that's how they test the servos together at the factory, because they usually are both somewhere.
Nothing makes sense when you get it. So
yeah,
what you best to do is take everything apart and then start over. That's what I would tell everybody. All right, so you have your triple plug.
Yeah, on the Dynam T28 with flaps. If you get the non-flap model, you're going to get a single Y harness for ailerons, and you would get the triple wire harness right here for your retracts. That's your nose gear and your two main gear. If you get the version that has flaps pre-installed, you'll also get an extra harness for the flaps. It's either going to look like this style here, or it's going to look like that style there. But you're going to get a Y harness for the flaps as well. So you'll have two Y harnesses and one triple harness.
So a lot of times people ask me where the ESC is. So can we physically see the ESC?
Speed control on this guy. Let's pull the cowling off.
So there's our motor. What kind of motor is that guy right there?
3715 890 kV.
Right.
Speed control on this guy.
They're buried in there, so it'd be hard to see. That's why we get that question all the time. But if you have your speed controller, you're gonna have these black and red wires with the Dean's plug on it. That goes to your speed controller, which is usually gonna be very close to the motor.
So your speed control wire, you wanna run that there, and then your battery is gonna run 2200 3-cell right there.
Yep. So this is a 3S battery, 2200, 11.1 volt. We recommend a 30C. We get the best performance on a 30C. So going back, we got our motor, and the speed controller is inside right here. So our motor, speed controller, the battery.
It actually sits under the battery down in this channel here.
So then what else we got there, Will? We have two servos.
We have two 9-gram servos, and then there's going to be one of the servos has a linkage here for the steering. So if your steering's not centered, you loosen this screw right here, and you would center the servo, and then center your steering, center your rudder, and then lock it back down. And the other one, this one on this side right here, is for your elevator.
Okay.
So that's your elevator servo, and that's your rudder and nose gear steering.
So those servos are going to be inside your fuselage, and others are going to be on the wing. All right, so flip it over. What do we got here? So when you put the wing on, you're going to have, I guess, 4 bolts?
Yeah, 4 screws, and then there's one that goes about this area here between the two wing halves to hold the wing halves.
So we talked about earlier, there's the linkage for the nose wheel steering. Right there, this little thing slides back and forth. Cowling, it goes on with, looks like it has magnets. It's really easy to go on. I could even do it with one hand here. I'm holding the camera. Well, something like that. It pops right on. All right, so we're gonna put the wings on real quick and get the radio all bounded up, and then show you guys what the retracts and the ailerons and the flaps all look together.
Now the wires, I plug in, I do the one side, I run all the wires here through here, and then you do the other side.
There are a lot of wires in there, that's for sure. You have 3 per wing. Remember, you have 1, 2, and 3, and then 1, 2, and 3 on that side, and then they all come up through the middle right here. So it is kind of a mess. So just work patiently. Don't force anything.
Yeah, don't pin. Make sure you get all the wires tucked in before you put the other half in.
So right now, what Will's doing, he's using that little tester because we have so many wires that we kind of lost track of what was where.
Yeah, so I'm just basically, I just made sure those are the same, and then I plugged this one in. Make sure the ailerons. That way I don't put it all together and have to take it all apart again. Which I've done many times in the past.
Nothing better than having that hooked up to the throttle or something like that, right?
Yeah.
All right, so again, we're just using this little tool to identify which wire is which servo. All right, let's all watch Will put this wing together. This is not easy. We've been doing this forever, and this is the part that I really have, you have to have patience for, because those are a lot of wires. not only are there a lot of wires, you have to make sure you don't pinch anything.
What do I got? Oh, I'm pulling wires out while I'm trying to put them in there, sir.
Yes, it doesn't help we have somebody pulling wires out. All right, so finally all the wires are in.
Yeah.
Now it's just sliding those wings together.
These two halves will go together.
So we have our...
And then you'll have 4 screws here, and then there's one that goes in from this side, and it screws in, and it bolts into a plate here, and all that does is close that
Now
gap.
how do you know which side it comes in?
This side, you can see there's a little round countersunk hole, just like these. If you look at this,
Okay.
you can see that hole there, and the other side, it's just flat. There's not a countersunk hole. That's the side that the screw goes into.
The new Dynam receiver, Tech Dextrum, I think it's called.
All right, so we got all our wires run through here. I know this is gonna be my ailerons, this is gonna be my flaps. I got those, and then this is throttle, and then we got retract here. We have rudder here, and we have elevators. So we got a lot of wires here. This is our new receiver. This is the Dynam 2.4 receiver found in the new Gavin radio system. So first things first is the aileron port. Now if you look at the receiver, all these wires, there's no marking saying signal, ground, positive, anything like that. You do see these little keys right here. Do you guys see that in the video?
Let me see, don't move. Yes, I see that.
These little key spots, that's the side for signal. So signal is gonna go up towards the label on this guy.
What color is signal?
Signal is gonna either be orange or white.
So not the dark color.
Not the dark color, it's gonna be generally the lightest color.
And the reason why I say dark, because some have black,
yeah,
and then some have like a brown.
Yep.
So that's your ground. Negative is your dark color, and your signal is going to be your reddish orangish color.
Yeah, the middle is the positive on this one.
Right. Okay.
All right, so first things first is the aileron, so we're going to plug that in. Second one is elevator, so we're going to go over here to elevator here. Then you got your rudder channel, throttles, channel 3.
And if you get stuck, you can just read.
Yep. Yeah, I'm just used to doing JR.
Just kidding.
Next one here is rudder, so I got the rudder. Then you got gear. Gear is going to be your retracts. Plug it in here.
Now it goes. Remember, we have 3 retracts. We have the each wing in the main gear. We wide harness them or triple harness them to the one port right there.
Yep. And then finally, is your flaps going to go into aux 1. So we're going to plug that in here. So we got our bind plug in here into the bind port. Got our battery plug in. The radio is off. We're going to plug it in. Then it will start flashing here. So we see the flashing light.
And you can hear the beeping.
Yes, that's the speed control beeping saying, hey, there's no radio signal. So, and all we do is turn on the radio. And now you got a solid red light. Your channel's locked.
All right, so everything is up and running.
Now we got it bound, but I can hear some buzzing servos, guys. One thing you're gonna wanna do, the flaps need to be adjusted, or any of the ailerons, anything that's buzzing. You don't want servos.
This guy right there.
Yeah, this one right here. So what we're gonna do is we are going to move the retract, or the flap, loosen the screw a little bit.
So now we got the flaps. What position is this, Will?
This is mid position. This actually has a 3-position switch. You got full flap.
Which you're gonna hear the noise of full
Way
flap.
too much full flap.
Hold on, let's get from the side right there. Do this.
That's full flap.
Yeah, that's almost like that's a crash. So mid flap and then up. I wouldn't do anything else besides mid flap.
Yeah, I would just do the first two. If you really want to try crazy maneuvers, but not a good idea. And then channel 5 is your retracts. And that's channel 5. And once again, flaps.
All right.
We got the steerable nose gear.
Oh yeah, put the nose gear down. Let's get some steerables. There we are.
All right, so here we have the ailerons here, and if you notice, we have reverse channel, which...
So left is right, right is left.
Yes.
So it's easy fix, is to come to the aileron right here, and you flip that dip switch.
Flipping the switch
down.
Will change the direction.
So now we reverse them, and now left is left and right is right.
One thing you'll notice on the motor, it is not straight on these. By design, they have down and to the right to counter torque on these. It's a thrust line.
So when you see it, when you put the cowl on,
yeah, it will.
It's not going to be in the center.
Down and to the right.
That is by design. That's actually a good thing. All right, hope you like this unboxing video. Stay tuned for part 3 of the T28 from Dynam with the retracts and flaps ready to fly.